So there's really nothing to talk about or debate.
Another day, another batch of Delulu TikToks to make me lose brain cells for your viewing pleasure.
Pronoun of the day is slugs.
Welcome back, guys, to a weekend video where we take on the craziest TikTok videos I came across this week from the perspective of a gay guy who hasn't quite lost his mind yet and gone insane. Up first, we've got one from dear friend of the channel, just kidding, Jeffrey Marsh, and warning, as always, jump scare.
I'll tell you something interesting about trans rights. We're here. It's done. It's already been decided. We have full human dignity. We're leading lives. We're in families. We're in cultures. We're here. And I've always found that odd. You know, people can be upset about that and are. People can fight it. People can pretend like it's not happening, but we are here. So there's really nothing to talk about or debate.
The caption on this video was, interesting. It's already been decided by us, by our breath, by our beauty, by our existence. You can't debate what's divine. You can't erase what's already rooted in joy. And there's more, basically saying like, we exist and we're real, therefore you can't debate us on anything we say. I don't know how to explain to Jeffrey that that's not how this works. It's also strange because Jeffrey isn't transgender. Jeffrey hasn't transitioned to present as a woman or anything like that. Jeffrey does not appear to have gender dysphoria or meet any of the traditional characteristics that would mean that somebody was actually transgender as it was traditionally understood. Jeffrey just declares a non-binary identity, but doesn't really do anything, and then claims that that's trans, which is not true and kind of absurd and ridiculous. But then to suggest that we don't get to have opinions on any of the complicated issues surrounding trans issues, LGBT rights, where they intersect with like women's rights and kids, is just absurd. You don't win arguments by default because of your identity, and you can't just invoke, well, it's my truth, and think that people just have to go along with it. There actually is a lot to debate. Who should be allowed to compete in women's sports? Whether biologically male people should be put in women's prisons? Whether it's safe or ethical to medically transition minors? These are actually quite important topics that not only can be debated, but must be, are actively being debated, and newsflash, Jeffrey, your crowd is losing very badly. So denial and Delulu are not strategies. So if you just want to tell yourself it's not up for debate, you can tell yourself that, but you telling yourself that over and over again or posting about it to your social media page doesn't make it true. The debate is still ongoing. You're currently losing it rather drastically, and simply opting out and burying your head in the sand isn't a meaningful solution and doesn't mean you're going to get your way. And for people who still value sanity, common sense, can perceive biological reality and its ramifications, that is very much welcome news. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Up next, this one is interesting.
Some carry hate. We carry the largest trans pride flag to ever be flown in a national park and unfurled it on the side of El Cap to prove a point that trans is natural. The Trump administration and transphobes would love to have you believe that being trans is unnatural, but species that can transition sexes can be found on every continent and in every ocean on planet Earth. So call it a protest, call it a celebration. We are bringing elevation to liberation. They try to erase us from government websites and education systems and libraries. So we raise this flag higher than ever before so every trans person knows that they have people that love them in their corner. The people united will never be defeated.
So this got hundreds of thousands of likes and over 1 million views, but it's kind of funny to me because I feel like this is just a great way to get yourself banned from the national parks, because this is, I'm pretty sure, against the rules, and all for nothing other than kind of an absurd spectacle that will go viral, but very much not in the way that you hope, while spreading a message that actually doesn't meaningfully advance your cause whatsoever. It is true that gender dysphoria is a naturally occurring medical phenomenon in a tiny percent of the population, but this idea that like trans is natural is almost a non sequitur. It's a waste of an argument because, and you hear this a lot, you hear people engage in this, but it's a logical fallacy, the naturalist fallacy. Just because something is natural doesn't mean it's good. Just because something is unnatural doesn't mean that it's bad. In fact, lots of things that are terrible are incredibly natural. Hurricanes, tsunamis, plague, things that bring mass devastation and human suffering. And then lots of things that improve life miraculously, like many modern medicines and other things are unnatural. Technologies that make the world a better place, unnatural. It's like, this is why sometimes people will be like, well, being gay is unnatural. And I don't really know that that's true, but even if it is, so what? Natural doesn't mean good and unnatural doesn't mean bad. Ironically, they're kind of playing into a baseless trope with this whole video. And then I do always have to roll my eyes at when they bring up clownfish or other species that can change their sex. Humans aren't clownfish. Humans can't change their biological sex because your biological sex is determined by the gamete that you produce. Is it sperm? Is it ova? Or is your reproductive system at least oriented towards the production of one or the other? And in almost all cases, it is one of the two, and it does not change in humans. Yes, it can change in some other species. Some other species can also fly. Doesn't mean humans can fly. It's like just an irrelevant point and contributes to one of the problems that I think is plaguing modern trans activism, which is it's the way it's become wrapped up in like science and biology denialism. You're never going to convince people that human beings can literally change their sex. We all know that's not true, or at least those of us that understand basic biology or just common sense. If you were to argue, which I've always been fine with, that there's a small percentage of the population that experiences gender dysphoria, and as adults will be happier if they live in ways that approximate the other sex. No skin off my back. That's always been fine with me as part of a free and open society. But don't tell us that like you literally can become whatever sex you feel like on the inside. That's not true. And people are simply never going to buy that. So this video seemed like a silly stunt to me that is likely to backfire and makes no meaningful points whatsoever. But you guys will have to let me know what you think in the comments. Up next, remember Lily Tino, the trans woman on TikTok constantly posting bizarre and inappropriate things? Yeah, well, Lily Tino strikes again and is back at Disney. Once again, berating waitstaff and playing the victim.
That is fancy looking. Cool.
The bottom is from Thailand.
Coconut bread from Thailand.
Yes, sir.
Cool.
Yes,
Ma'am.
No, ma'am, sorry, my bad. And the middle one is from India. It's the papadom with the gingerbread chutney.
Okay.
And the third is from Brazil. It's a cheese bread with the guava sauce.
Thank you. Just like totally sucks the joy out of this bread tower. Makes me want to immediately like leave because I no longer feel like safe here. It's like, oh, my guard now has to be up. I'm not going to enjoy this bread as much because my guard is up. We should be able to go places and not have to worry. I don't think I really want this bread tower, actually. I think I'd rather have the check if that's okay.
Yeah.
I think that's the training. They're supposed to say friend or just not use gendered language. It's like a pretty big thing that Disney has done. Nothing was wrong with bread. I just don't want it anymore. Just because they apologize doesn't mean she doesn't feel sad or offended. Yeah. Exactly, right? Like, if you've accidentally ever hurt someone and say, I'm so sorry, it was an accident, do you expect them to be like, oh, it was an accident? Of course, no problem whatsoever. All of that hurt is now undone. That's not how it works.
Sorry about what happened.
It's okay. I would love to pay for the drink, please.
No, the drink is on me too, so
You don't. Are you sure?
you're good. Yeah.
Thank you
Sorry
very
about
much.
that.
I appreciate it. Thank
It's officially a grift. I'm convinced. This person is just pulling these stunts to get free stuff they don't have to pay for. They get a free drink, and for whatever reason, these Disney people are just being nice or afraid of a woke person throwing a fit, I guess, gave them the bread tower for free. When it's like, listen, if you order food, there's nothing wrong with it, and then you just decide you don't want it, you shouldn't get it free. You should still have to pay for it. That's ridiculous. They can't give it to someone else. They can't reuse it. It's just a waste. So the entitlement, and I get that they're probably scared of getting in trouble with the higher ups or whatever, so they just cave. But I wish people like this would just tell people who are so unreasonable and entitled like this to pound sand. First off, you can't expect people to always call you ma'am. First off, they don't have to if they don't want to. You'd like to be called that. It is an honest mistake in this case from what are likely immigrant workers who are perhaps not even fully fluent in English. and you're bullying them, shaming them to 7 million people on TikTok as if they're horrible bigots because they called you sir and then immediately apologized and tried to smooth it over. It's not their fault if you are so tremendously insecure that you need constant external validation in other people's word choice, or you melt into a puddle inside. It is ridiculous to say that you no longer feel safe because someone called you sir. Dude, what? You're not unsafe just because somebody forgot to use your preferred thing you like to be referred to. That's an insult to the many people in the world who are actually unsafe to claim that you and your sensitive little soul that constantly needs external validation while making absolute minimal effort whatsoever, if any, are unsafe because you don't get exactly what you want all the time. The entitlement is out of control, and we need to stop enabling people like this. And by the way, Miss Lily here should already be banned from Disney for that other video that Lily posted a while ago talking about genital sex changes in front of lots of children while using food in a really gross way at Disney before. The fact that Lily's not permanently banned from Disney after that is its own problem that we could go into. It's just actually really sad because I think most actual transgender people do just want to live their lives and blend in, are not trying to cause a fuss or cause a show, but a small percentage, some of whom are likely fetishists, go out and cause public scenes, go and seek attention with this kind of rage bait content. And in doing so, they present a face of the trans community that people do not view kindly. This kind of thing, when it goes viral on TikTok and gets 7 million views, does not offer good representation for trans people, is the very least I'll say. And almost certainly, well, yes, enriching Lily Tino, the rage bait gets lots of views and makes Lily lots of money, does a massive disservice for public support and acceptance for trans adults who just want to live their lives, unlike Lily, who is clearly, I think, a fetishist and somebody with no common sense, no reasonable expectations, and no desire whatsoever to blend in or coexist with people peaceably. I'm just so sick of these influencers pulling this kind of crap, cashing out while doing just tremendous harm for everyone else in the process. It needs to stop, and then people in the real world need to stop tolerating and enabling this grotesque behavior. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. I don't really think I can handle any more of these in one sitting without permanently incurring brain damage, so I'll leave it there for now. Make sure you hit that like button before you go. Make sure you're subscribed if you aren't yet, and we'll talk again real soon.